Are England on the road to glory, and have they finally got a solution for the one problem that has dogged them in the biggest of matches in recent years? Possibly. I mean, possibly not. But I'm hoping so, certainly as an Englishman. Could we finally sort out our scrum? Maybe. And the answer could lie with the current under-20 world champions. As of Friday night, England are the champions at under-20 level, having beaten France in the final in Cape Town. And they beat them by absolutely dominating France at scrum time. And this is something that for me gives me optimism. I hope it's not misplaced. I hope we can nurture this talent really well and get them into the first team. And maybe England can avoid situations like that which happened in a World Cup semi-final when England got absolutely marmalised by South Africa. I was there in the stadium that night. I sat there and watched that scrum, and that impending sense of inevitability and doom is going to happen again. The bomb squad are going to crush our dreams, as they did in 2019. And England have not been able to solve this issue. It's why Joe Marler, awesome player, and we've still had to pick Joe Marler. And yeah, Ellis Genge looks great in some respects. Is he the guy that's gonna boss the box in a massive game? Still question marks there. Dan Cole, at 37 years young, is still playing, and what an absolute legend the Kola Bear is. But there is no one taking that jersey from him. Will Stewart is the closest we've had, but again, you've still got question marks over him. Where is this front row talent coming from? What is happening? There's things that the RFU have been doing. They've now got a dedicated person trying to develop front row players for the future. Well, they might have the solution with the under-20 team that have just won the title, because you look at that match, the under-20 championship final against France on Friday night. It was the perfect example of can't scrum, can't win. Because France were, I mean, the conditions were terrible. France were like, if overall the better team, but all the territory, all the opportunities, and ultimately all the points that England got to win the match came from a dominant scrum. They absolutely hammered them, and that was the secret to the win. And as an Englishman, with all the pain that we've seen from the scrum in recent years, it was so good to see. I just hope that we can nurture these players and bring them through. So I thought I would just throw some names onto your radar that probably you may have heard of already, but I'm hoping are going to become household names in the years ahead. Because when I look back to the 2016 team, the last time England won the Under-20 World Championships was 2016. I went to that whole tournament. I was working on it. It was here in Manchester where I live. And the names in that team that went on to do great things, it was incredible, the number of players. Let me just reel off. You might even recognise some of the faces there. Jack Walker and Jack Singleton, two hookers that went on to be England hookers. Jack Walker at the most recent World Cup. Will Stewart, current tight head prop for England, he's in that squad. Jack Willis and Callum Chick and Will Evans from the back row. Bunch of England caps between some of them, particularly Jack Willis. What an absolute superstar. Two-time top 14 winner and Champions Cup winner as well. In the backs as well, you've got Harry Randall. You've got Harry Malinder, Joe Marchant, Johnny Williams, who went on to play for Wales. Matt Gallagher. Has he gone back to Ireland? But he was at Bath. Max Malins, England player. So many internationals came from that 2016 crop, and the hope is that the current under-20s could go on to do the same thing. But it's quite interesting when you look at the players, you realise how few games they're getting in the Premiership. And that's a concern to me. And I think it's something that should and needs to be addressed. Hopefully it will be addressed just naturally, because clearly the under-20 England team this year are very, very good. But there's only a handful of Premiership appearances between them, whereas when you look at their French counterparts, there are tons of appearances. Some of those players have played 25 games in the top 14 or Pro D2 this last year, and two of the players made appearances in the top 14 semi-final. The French system is working much better at getting game time to guys when they're young, and a big part of that is the GIF system, which means that you have to have, I think it's 17 players in every matchday 23 you have to have in a matchday squad in the top 14 or Pro D2, and that means these young guys are getting a shot. We need to get these young guys a shot. These under-20s now cannot just sit there and get a few minutes here and there. They've got to get some proper game time, and if that means fewer foreign players playing in the Premiership in England, that is what has to happen. So let's hope they can go on and be really good. Some names to put on your radar. Asher Opoku for Jaw. He was developed by Wasps. Obviously, they've gone bust. Sale benefited from that. He's with them now. He was loose head prop, but he can play tight head as well and looks to be a formidable talent. Get him some game time. Obviously, front rows develop a lot slower. It might not be till mid-20s that you start to come to the fore, and maybe late 20s, early 30s when you peak. But let's see what he can do. Maybe these guys need to be fast-tracked into the national setup in the way that Finn Baxter has done recently and looked really decent against New Zealand. On the other side of the scrum, Afolabi for Sogbon at Gloucester now. He was developed by London Irish. They've gone bust. So those two guys, a lot of hopes resting on their shoulders. Jimmy Halliwell, who is the other tight head prop, plays for Bristol as well. Junior Kapoku, second row, Racing 92. So he's not eligible to get senior honours, and hopefully France don't have their eye on him because he looks to be a proper talent. Younger brother of Joel, who's playing at Lyon, and yeah, very, very good prospect. As is Joe Bailey, sticking in the front five at the minute. Another second row, although he can play flanker. In fact, the one appearance he's made for Exeter Chiefs was on the flank. So mobile guy, and exactly the same for Finn Carnduff, the captain of the team, plays for Leicester Tigers, lock and six. I'm quite excited about all of those names, those 5 names, and the one that has been on the lips of a lot of people in England. Looks to be an international of the future, looks to have a massive future ahead of him. Hopefully he can deliver on that promise. Henry Pollock at Northampton Saints, serious talent. And there's some good players in the backs as well. I like the look of Sean Kerr at Harlequins. England have got a centre problem as well. Front row problem we've got a centre problem as well. This guy looks good. He was playing 12. And Angus Hall, is it Angus Hall I think his name is? Plays for Saracens, big boy. He was 13. He's got wing speed, big unit, and he's only 18 years of age. So I'm kind of optimistic. I really hope that we can develop this bunch into the internationals of the future. But I think there's some systemic issues that need to be addressed in order for that to happen. There's too many players that are brilliant at 18 or 19, don't get enough first team game time. They get kept in the academies but never given games, not loaned out enough to championship clubs, and then they end up just their talent being frittered away, and they'll end up in the French 3rd division rather than out there on the international turf playing for England as they should do. It's what the countries that are the best in the world do so well. When they have young talent, they give it time, they give it a shot, and get it around the rest of them. So hopefully we can nurture the class of 2024. There we go. I suppose that's kind of a rare, completely partisan England-focused video from me. But honestly, again, when I just take you back to nights like that, the scrum issue for England, oh my goodness, it's something I really hope we can solve. Thank you very much. Your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will see you on the next video.